Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxler, the Technical Trader. Wednesday, October the 26th. These are the charts of the day. Today I'm going to list some of the stocks that I feel right now have my favorite patterns and have the strongest possibilities of having short to intermediate term moves. I think today was a very, very significant day for LNG as they announced a $20 billion long-term contract that materially changes the picture of the company. And as you can see, investors thought so as well. It was up 420 or 68% today. 32.5 million shares, by far the biggest volume I could ever see in that stock. So when you get the kind of breakaway thrust, breakaway gap above the moving averages and through secondary resistance and close near the upper end of the range, it's a very, very good day for that stock. I would look for a follow through to get it up into the 12-13 range near the May high, and then let's see if there's a consolidation. But longer term, I can see this in the mid to high teens easily. MTW had a significant day as well, in my opinion, as it broke out for $1.91 or 22%. Now, when you look at the way the pattern is structured, I like to see these downtrends followed by reversal patterns, retests, breakouts, and today was a significant one as volume surged to 12.2 million shares. That's big volume. Now, there is a resistance level around 11.5, which I believe may be tested, as well as the declining tops line around 12. So let's look at 11.5, 12, my short-term target. But a secondary target gets me up to about 14. FTK. I've always liked this company, and last year we did very well with it. As you can see, it ran from 1 to nearly 11. Finally did get a strong move down in the July, August, September period. Reversed sharply, though, earlier this month, stalled near the moving averages and consolidated right in this area here, and then broke through the 6.25 range today with a breakaway gap and jumped on the day 18% or $1.08. Now, next resistance level is up around the 7.75, 790 zone. That's right up against here, and I'm looking for a test of that maybe as early as tomorrow. If we get through that, secondary targets up around the 9.25 half area, maybe as high as 10. And even a retest of the July high at 10.75 wouldn't surprise me over the course of the intermediate term. But let's look for some sort of consolidation flagging retest shortly up in that zone before we get too crazy. EDAC. Now, this is a stock that's absolutely been moving fantastically. And if you look at the long-term chart, we've been talking about this base, the breakout, the pullback, the retest, the strong surge, and then this consolidation here. That consolidation was broken with a pop, a flag, and more importantly, the $8 range, which seems to have acted as lateral resistance right across there. This mini little head and shoulder pattern was broken out 2 days ago, followed through yesterday, and today a breakaway gap occurred. I'm looking for a move and a thrust that takes us up towards the 11.5 to 13 zone short term. And then beyond that, we'll have to take a look at it, but it's sure looking good on the short-term basis. Emerging drug company Onyx, ONXX, had a significant day today with the drug approval. Now, it didn't close great, about 2.25 points off the high, still up 344, or almost 10% on 5.4 million. That's a significant day. More importantly, this lateral price resistance was taken out with the breakaway gap. Let's see if there's a follow-through, but I'm looking for a short-term target at 43 and then 46. Spectrum today popped $1.82 or 7.75% on 1.9 million. However, significant of today was that it reached a new all-time high. Now, it did reach the top of the multi-month channel that I formed, so there could be some resistance here, but any pullback may be construed as a buying opportunity, particularly on low volume. And a breakout above this line could accelerate into the high 20s, maybe even low 30s. One of my current favorites, WPRT, which we had a swing trade on here and here, it did very well. Sharp pullback in early October with lots of stocks, but resulted in a reversal and consolidation. Well, the recent action shows a high just around 30. Today's high was 29.96, so we did move from 27.91 to 29.96 today, and volume increased to 1.1 million. If we can break out of this consolidation zone, and I think we're going to, I'm looking for a move to at least 33, maybe 34, 4.5, short term. But if you step back and look at the long-term patterns here, you can see that we're looking at a stock that could very easily get into 40 plus, maybe mid 40s on an intermediate basis. Silicon Motion, really liking the way this pattern is looking. Look at the long-term chart. You'll see the nicely rising pattern. Now, we had a strong move here, December through May, followed by a multi-month consolidation. but that appeared to be a head and shoulders type bottoming pattern. And then when it broke out last week here, we put a swing trade on it, and it ran very nicely into the $17 target we had. But at this point, I'm looking for more upside, and I'm thinking that at least the top of the channel around 20 maybe had short term, but it could see as high as 24, 25 to meet the top of the accelerated channel, probably on a secondary basis. Juniper, big turnaround underway there in my opinion. The stock had come down from 44.5 down to 16 and change, reversed sharply, and has been moving up very nicely here, coming through one layer of resistance through the moving averages up to the second level, pulling back to test the moving averages as they cross over, and now we are heading higher. There is a declining tops line around 24 that should be tested shortly. Lateral price resistance around 26, however, is my current swing trade target, but it wouldn't shock me to see an attempt at a gap fill and a move up into the 29 zone on an intermediate basis. Sally Beauty Holdings acting great, broke out a couple, 3 days ago, followed through, and then backed off quietly yesterday. In the morning, it reversed from 1868 back up to 1931. It looks to me like it's a stock that's headed to the top of the channel up around 24.5 on a intermediate basis with some minor resistance around 21, or should I say a target right there about 21 ultra short term. Risky Enterprises continues to impress, another $1.71, only 1.5% today, but that's a new all-time high. At the high today at 49 plus, 49.16. That was the highest level it's ever reached. Now it's moved up sharply from 37.5 to 49.16 over the last 3 weeks. So there may be a cause for concern in terms of being overbought, as well as the top of the channel looms just ahead around 50-51 zone. But any pullback that's constructive and comes on low volume would be a possibility for an entry point for higher levels. I'm looking for Nu Skin to get into the 50s and 60s. Nuance, another company that's done very well. If we look at the long-term chart, you'll see that this rising line continues to be tagged, and we just reached it again. So there may be cause for a pullback consolidation in the zone as we're somewhat overbought. Stock's gone from 15.5 to 26 in the last couple months, but with the current merger, recent merger, accretive merger, this looks like it's being reevaluated by institutions and should see higher levels, but I would love to see it pull back in the 23, 24 zone for an entry up on low volume especially. Nice long-term chart pattern on SURG. Look at this 3-year chart. However, we are up against the 06 highs at about the 8.5 range, or coming up towards it, which is my short-term target. That's also the top of the channel, so that will be my short-term target. But the SURG synergistics chart is looking extremely impressive as technicals continue to either improve or hold steadily and make new highs. Look at the unbalanced volume here, highest level of the year, and therefore I'm looking for the stock to move from the current level of 674 to about 8.5, 9 zone on a short-term basis. Favorite shipping stock for me, GNK. If we look at the daily chart, you'll see the kind of head and shoulders bottom with the left shoulder here, head, right shoulder, the pop up towards resistance, and then the current wedge type consolidation. I like the overall pattern. I like the fact that the technicals, the stock broke its declining tops line, took out its moving averages, pulled back to them and tested, created a new rising channel with a target now up around 12.5, 3/4. That's my target for GNK. And lastly today, probably my favorite stock of the year is MyTech. Having run up from 3 to 13 and pulling back to 8.5, the stock snapped back in the last couple of weeks, back over 12. In the last couple of days, it's pulled back, but notice that after the one big day of a reversal, it's come down on a little bit lower volume. It's back to the moving average and the rising trend line short term. I believe the stock holds in this wedge pattern that explodes to the upside. My target is once it does get past that 13.25 level, I'm looking for it to surge into the 15, 17 zone, shorter term for MyTech. And that's it for tonight. Have a good evening.